everyone this weekend. I think the fans that are packing the grandstands behind us across the racetrack are in for one heck of a show this afternoon for pro racing.
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. It's capacity crowds. We're under sunny skies. I love it here in Antigo, Wisconsin. You're going to see great battles. This track is a bull ring track. It means, hey, anything goes. Gloves are off. I mean, if you have to kick your neighbor out of the way to get to the lead, that's what some guys and gals are going to do this afternoon.
Well, I'm thinking back to Pro 4 and even Pro 2 a couple of weeks ago in Lena for the opening rounds. We saw plenty of that there. There are some hurt feelings, some scores to be settled, and some new players coming into some of our pro classes that we'll tell you all about. But before we can light the fuse for Pro Round 3, let's go down trackside to Haley Shanley for opening ceremonies.
I like this. I like being back in Antigo. I like the history. I like some of the racers who we hadn't seen in the opening rounds show back up and looking to race the rest of the season with AMSOIL Championship Off-Road. And I like that we don't have many trends as of yet. And the racers, you know what, they're in the same boat. So many guys who weren't happy with the setup, they feel like they maybe weren't fully prepared for the opening rounds. Well, you'd be amiss to think that they haven't gone back and done their homework. So I'd be willing to bet that here in round 3, when this is usually our opening round in Antigo, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an even better racing product. And you guys have done a beautiful job of painting the picture for us throughout the day as this track continues to develop and get better. Of course, no thanks to Mother Nature overnight giving us the rain. So short story long, I'm excited to see maybe more trends to develop here after round 3. But before we can go racing, we have a very important to-do list to take care of. And I'm joined by none other than my friend Mark Budke from Racers for Christ, who's going to give us our invocation.
Thank you, Haley. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this glorious day. I mean, it started out not too glorious. Started out kind of ugly, but it's really turning around, answered prayers. What a blessing it is to be here on this beautiful day, on this beautiful race facility. But we got to lift up in prayer and thanks for blessing for the local Antigo Lions Club for all they're doing, all the volunteers, their hard work, and also for Champ Off-Road, for all the people behind the scenes making this happen. And we just pray for a safe day of racing, pray for all the racers and all the safety crew out there trying to get these guys keeping going out there, and everybody in the pits, and pray for all the spectators for a safe day of racing. And that's what we're praying for today. In your awesome name of Jesus Christ, amen. And as always, a great big Wisconsin, God bless America.
Amen. As always, thank you so much, Mark Budke from Racers for Christ. Now, if you're joining us here inside on Antigo Lions Rowing Racer, will you please remain standing, but remove your headwear and face the colors, because our good friend, please join me in welcoming her back. I have Belle Nealon from right here in Antigo to perform the national anthem. Belle?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Well, here's a few of our drivers to watch in round 3. First up from Conyers, Georgia in Pro 4, how about Jimmy Henderson? Brand new truck. Debuted it yesterday. top qualifier in Pro 4. He was second in Pro 4 points last year. He's here to play with that beautiful new truck. What do you see from Henderson here in round 3?
Well, I see a lot of big things out of him. The people that are in the back of the camp with him, Trad has done a wonderful job getting this brand new truck. His first ever Pro 4 he built from the ground up by himself. Look for big things, like I said, because they laid down the fastest lap in qualifying coming into this weekend with that new ride.
As you see Jimmy Henderson throwing out some swag there in the crowd. Yeah, when I talked to him yesterday, the one thing I took away was he's confident, he's calm, there are no nerves about this brand new truck, and he told me that truck will do anything I ask it to do. So look out for that man, Jimmy Henderson, in Pro 4. The finale here in round 3 a little bit later on. Next up, he is your current Pro Spec points leader. He won here in Pro Spec last year from Summit Lake, Wisconsin. Let's talk with Nick Visser.
Nick Visser, I know for years now, on any given afternoon, you are a threat to win. But talk about the confidence that you must be having after the weekend you're coming off of.
You know, we're usually fast here, fast most places. You know, to finish out with a win at Lena, it was a great confidence boost. We didn't get a lot of time in the truck in the preseason. And, you know, coming in here, we've one race each time and raced one here and pretty much everything else except for the buggy. So pretty confident, you know, right at home, a lot of hometown sponsors, Parsons, Wagner Shell, everybody else that's here in town, and all the local fans and family, and I can't appreciate you guys enough for being out here.
Watch him send it big today. Nick Visser for Pro Spec.
And another driver to watch. This man put on one heck of a show back at Dirt City Motorplex. We'll see him in Pro 4 and in AMSOIL Pro Side-by-Side. He was second in Pro Side-by-Side. This is only his second weekend in Pro 4. From Owasso, Oklahoma, it's Kanan Baker.
Kanan Baker, of course, a brilliant weekend in the side-by-side a couple weeks ago in Dirt City, but in the Pro 4 as well. So second weekend out in the Premier class. What'd you learn that you're bringing here to Antigo?
Oh yeah, Lena was a little hard on us. I had a little downfall in both classes, but I'm really going to try to step it up and try to stay in front of everyone. The Pro 4, I'm just going to try to get a lot of practice out there and just try to keep up with all the front runners.
One of the rookies, but so much fun to watch. Kanan Baker, of course, for side-by-side racing and Your defending champion, CJ Greaves. CJ, after Dirt City, we got to talk about it. How are we moving forward from it? What's been done following round 2?
Yeah, I mean, we had a crazy weekend. New truck. All 3 vehicles I was racing at Lena Dirt City were brand new this year. So we knew we were going to have some bugs to work out. We got a little bit of testing in, thought we were kind of had a good home base, and just had some fluke issues with the steering in the Pro 4. And we went back to work, started from the beginning, took it all out, laid it on the table, and went, all right, what's different here? What do we got to change? What do we got to do better? And went through, worked with Howell, power steering, and sorted out some bugs on our end and their end that we both were just under miscommunication on the parts we were running. So we got that sorted out, and was able to run practice and qualifying yesterday. Everything felt kosher and where it needs to be, and we're ready to race today.
Well, hey, you're the winningest Pro 4 driver here at Antigo, and you are about to reach a milestone this weekend. Let's say you sweep the weekend, Pro 4. That's 100 truck wins. Have you thought much about that stat? Do you put too much thought into it, or you just go out and race every time and maybe hope for the best?
Yeah, you know what's crazy is on top of that, I'm undefeated in Pro 4 at Antigo. So I think that has been brought up more than the 98 truck wins, but and possibly being able to go for 100 this weekend is just having such a good run here in Pro 4 alone. So we're just going to go out there and do our thing. We know it's a long season. We kind of set ourselves back a little bit in the beginning already. So we're going to go out there, take it lap by lap, and that's what we've been doing every year here. And even if we're not the fastest truck, we can usually, by the end of the race, put ourselves in a good position to have an opportunity to win. So that's always the goal. And just keep our head down, do our thing, and have fun.
Well, I know he can certainly make it happen. CJ Greaves for Pro 4.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Welcome back once again to Antigo, Wisconsin. You can look at our beautiful crowd we have on hand this afternoon. Once again, I'm Brent Smith alongside Shane Stetsny, Haley Shanley down, covering all the action with our drivers, our top 3 throughout the day. And, man, everyone showed up today.
Yeah, who's that sitting there in that Max's hat? See Trey Gibbs hanging out there, getting a little rest and relaxation before we'll see him a little bit later on in Pro Light, where he is the points leader coming into this
there
one.
He is.
But look at that crowd. We've watched that grandstands get more and more full throughout the day here. It's been, since the rain stopped, the sun came out way back during light buggy, and it's been a beautiful day ever since. A little breezy, temperatures in the 60s. Not much more you could ask for. Track, like we talked about, has come into shape extremely, extremely well.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of water down right now and packing it in, so that just tells you how dry this track got throughout our sportsman divisions. Can't thank all these fans enough. They're about to witness some of the best racing in the world here in short course.
Yeah, it's gonna be some mayhem. Pro buggy, stacked field. Right now, let's have a chat with Haley Shanley. Hey, let's talk some predictions here for Pro Round 3.
Yeah, Pro Round 3, like I said earlier in opening ceremonies, I'm really excited to see what trends develop. But guys, looking at Pro 4 alone, Adrian Cheney topping the points, Johnny Greaves second in points right now. Each of those gentlemen with a win in the opening rounds. That has to take you back a little bit, maybe a few years, I'd say 10 years, 2014, maybe Nolan Castellion, our resident historian, can correct me on that, or maybe you guys can too. But for you seasoned off-road fans, this is so exciting. So I wouldn't be surprised if these two maybe continue that trend. Of course, Adrian Cheney with the new truck this year. I think CJ Greaves is gonna be back in the mix in terms of contending for the podium, maybe working out some of those bugs with the brand new truck for the number 33. So those are some of my early predictions for Pro 4. What about you guys?
Well, Haley, you talked in opening ceremonies about you haven't seen a trend yet. Well, I'll tell you what I think the trend is going to emerge. Adrian Cheney, the wild man, real deal in 2024. I think he's going to compete for a championship this year. I really do.
Yeah, and absolutely. And how do you count out Jimmy Henderson with that brand new truck?
Yeah, look out.
Showing up with that brand new machine and laying it down to the group. I mean, CJ Greaves, he's going for his 99th and 100th victory. That's huge. You remember Kyle LeDuc laying down his 100th victory. We got to call that race. So just big things happening, but keep your eye on Jimmy Henderson.
Looking at the Pro 4 points coming into this round 3 race, Cheney on top of the points. Had the big win in round 1. Like I said, call it an overreaction if you want, but the momentum that he had at the end of last year with that big win at Bark River, which was his first one in a while, to show up and win round 1, looks really comfortable in that new truck.
Yeah, he does. In practice, he was really, really quick flying in front of the crowd. So, I mean, Haley, it's been crazy all year round so far. And, I mean, what are your predictions for the Pro 2 division?
And I think this is the one that I have the most questions on, because you look at the number of guys who are proven and multi-time winners, guys like Ricky G, who had a very off weekend. Let's be very real about that. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd actually think it would be right on par of him to bounce back. Of course, he's been a front runner here at Antigo specifically, but at any of the tracks, on any given afternoon, Ricky G is always a threat. So I do expect also to see Mickey Thomas and Ryan Beat up there in the mix as well, contending for the race wins. But man, Kyle Greaves, the Pro 2 rookie, topping the points. And I go back to the points. Yes, we do have a long season ahead, but again, as we look for more trends, the points is one of the very few indicators we have right now. So nonetheless, Kyle Greaves without a win in the opening rounds, but was consistent enough to be topping the charts right now. So I could expect to see maybe some more from Kyle Greaves as well.
Well, you know, Haley, there's a forgotten man from that conversation who wasn't at Dirt City Motorplex, but you had a chance to talk to him earlier today. Keegan Kincaid. He's motivated, you know, maybe with championship aspirations set aside, missing the opening rounds, but he wants to, this is his home track 1B. Crandon is 1A, this is 1B home track for Keegan Kincaid. He wants to come here and hold serve, I think.
Absolutely. He wants to get back and putting together, so he is doing more races this year. He wants to continue to expand on that. He says, it's really hard to sit on the sidelines like he did for rounds 1 and 2. It's especially hard for me to not be out here and chasing a championship. Now, assuming he's going to race the rest of them, right now, to be determined is if he's going to race Lena, Wisconsin at the end of July. But assuming he does race the rest of them, you know, a championship's not out of the question. Of course, 2 rounds of points, highly valuable, but that's what he wants to get back to. But when we talk about expanding his schedule, and this is why it's so important for he and his dad, Jeff Kincaid, is he's telling me that he's getting back to enjoying off-road racing and the grind that it is. And that really goes back to the 2023 season. He said, I needed to change, I needed to realign my focus and just really find my passion for this again. Well, he's found that. He's picked up some new partners along the way. Maxxis Tires, like he spoke about in an interview, and not only that, but he's working with Polaris as well. Made his debut in desert racing last fall. He's looking to do more of that. So expanding the footprint for our sport, off-road at large, expanding the footprint for his sponsors and really having fun with it. He didn't give me specifics, but he did hint at potentially getting into a side-by-side and bringing that to short course racing. So you never know, we may see Keegan Kincaid in a side-by-side. We're going to keep you updated on that. But why this is so important as well for he and his dad, Jeff, because he said, my dad was stuck in pro light for a very long time. And he said, that was one of my dad's biggest regrets is he didn't get out and diversify very much. Well, he didn't need to, of course. Very successful. He's an off-road legend. But he does say in hindsight that that is one regret, that I didn't get out and diversify. So diversification is one thing that Keegan Kincaid is looking to do here in 2024. We're seeing that and beyond.
Well, thank you very much, Haley, and that's some great information. Keegan, he's always one to reckon with, and it's hard to pick your favorite guy to come out on top in Pro 2. There's so much great talent, Shane.
Yeah, for sure. It's stacked class. More reinforcements on the way with Corey Winter, the defending champ, running a part-time season this year. We'll see him out a little bit later. Ronnie Anderson will be out in the mix for a couple races in Pro 2 as well. It's going to be really fun to watch. Some Brent Smith guy, I guess, trying to put something together for this year. Heard that he's getting close.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's go time for the Pro Division. Pro Buggy up on the racetrack right now. Open wheel cars, and boy, do they get up and go here in Antigo.
This class absolutely stacked. Coming into this season, you and I talked on the podcast who we thought the contenders might be. We named who we thought the contenders could possibly be for this year, and then two guys that we barely talked about, Dave Mason and Lorenzo Bonacci, won the opening round. So throw everything you know about Pro Buggy out the window. And by the way, another driver that we have barely talked about this year was the top qualifier for today, and that's Caden Minder. So you want to talk about a stacked class, legitimately 8, 9, 10 drivers that could come out and win this race. As you see the lineup, Billy Booth, the runner-up in points last year, will start alongside the top qualifier, Caden Minder. Then it is Cole Bernlohr alongside the round 1 winner, Dave Mason Jr. Lorenzo Bonacci, your winner in round 2, will start 5th. He will be alongside Mark Ersteini Steinhardt, the defending class champion. Row number 4 is Jordan Bernlohr, and Jaden Lemke. Dave Vandenelsen and Logan Christensen there in row number 5. John Kendall will start 11th. This is his debut in Pro Buggy, racing under the Ryan Schwalbe awning. Next to him, driving the 49, usually that's Redkin Murray from Crandon. Filling in this weekend, Tony Keepers. So he filled in for Steiny back in Lena. This time filling in for Redkin. Chase Guerrer from Denton, Montana will start 13th. Donald Reitzel starts 14th. And Ryan Schwalbe from Rhinelander starts in the 15th spot.
See all these cars looking very, very nice, all clean. Once we got rid of Mother Nature's weather earlier on today, they're ready to rock and roll. Richie Kuloff's gonna pull off one final time. Billy Booth's gonna lead them to this green flag.
Green flag flies, Pro Racing underway here in round 3. It looks like Booth got the jump on Minder as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. They put some water down on the track early. 3 different lines coming out of that oval section there.
Yeah, Minder tried running the way wide line. It actually opened the door for Dave Mason Jr. Cole Bernlohr also able to gain a spot there in turn 1.
Oh, we got a car upside down on the glimpse of our screen.
Yeah, that was Cole Bernlohr, 34.
Tough break.
Right as I was telling everybody that he just gained a spot, he ends up flipped on his lid. We'll see if he's able to continue in this one.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. The track crew's gonna have to get him back on his wheels. As we go back up front, the Mud Muncher 51 of Billy Booth.
Take another look at Bernlohr here. Looks like he caught the edge of that finger jump there. Did we talked earlier about guys, eventually they'll start running the outside line. That time he tried to split the difference and paid the price for it. Like you said up front, Billy Booth, the Mud Muncher car, number 51, leading the way over the top qualifier, Caden Minder, and Bonacci in that number 33 slid into the 3rd spot.
People give us a hard time with always talking about Billy Booth, but he's proven to everyone that he belongs up front. Bonacci in that 33 going by what was our rollover.
Yeah, Bernlohr back on his wheels, but not able to stay on the lead laps. A tough break for Cole Bernlohr. He was up in the top 3 in points coming into this one.
Minder gonna try to chase down Billy Booth here early on.
Man, it looked like Bonacci might have missed a shift or something there. He was really slow coming out of that corner.
Don't take much.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Booth actually had some transmission issues back at Dirt City. He was running up near the front. And then the gearbox, the transmission basically fell apart internally and he couldn't find any gear except first.
Look at Minder now trying to work that outside on Booth. Try to get that run out of that turn once again. Going over that little roller jump and off this tabletop into that little chicane.
And he had a great run on Booth. Got right to the back bumper, headed for that switchback corner. He'll have to fall back in line.
Boy, Booth has that section dialed, just floating right through that section. Bond tying off that tabletop.
Yeah, our fastest guys here at Pro Buggy all going to triple that jump. Like I said, just every pro class will be tripling that big tabletop jump. So there is Booth trying to run away from Minder down the backstretch and into turns 4 and 5.
Such a cool view by our drone. Just carrying all that speed through that turn is very, very tough going by our big crowd on hand in Antigo, Wisconsin.
You said before this race, they put a lot of water down as this track dries out throughout this race. These lap times are going to steadily improve. They're already our top 3 running almost identical lap times in the 56-second range. Here comes Minder on the infield again, trying to get to the back bumper of Billy Booth.
Yeah, he's about 3 car lengths back, maybe 2 there. Bonacci now wants to get into that top 2. Remember, we have that halfway point. It's kind of early to start talking about it, but you don't want to force anything. You know you're fast enough to run with Billy Booth. You don't want to make contact, take each other out as he makes a little bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, that'll let Billy Booth get away, at least for the moment. I think Booth is faster on the oval section. It looks like Minder definitely through turn 1 and into the second corner through the infield. Minder definitely faster than Booth in that section.
Yeah, you're definitely correct. You can see it happening right in front of us here.
They'll fly into turn 1 once again. Bonacci slowly creeping up on the back bumper of Caden Minder.
Boy, that car just looks quick early.
Look at Minder just pushing Billy Booth down the straightaway through the infield once again.
One little hiccup right here by Booth that can cost him that spot. Look at him hanging it out.
And again, Booth just stretches it back out a little bit. Bonacci, I love the patience right now. No reason to force anything if you're Lorenzo Bonacci. You just wait for the top 2 to either tangle or make a mistake. And you might have gotten one out of Minder right there.
Yeah, he's not wasting any time. He just bobbled that little bit. Bonacci taking over that second place spot. Now his eyes are set on our race leader, Billy Booth.
See Minder falling off the pace just a little bit from Bonacci. Look at that though, it's the top 3 and then almost a full straightaway back to 4th. Bonacci trying to outbrake Billy Booth into the GoPro corner.
Seems like Bonacci's reeling him in just little by little, maybe about a quarter car length a lap. Every little bit counts here. Trying to find that fast line. You know the track's coming apart. It's starting actually to come together for some of these drivers that they predicted how it's going to fall apart late in the race. The tire, the compound, the grooving. There's so much going on. Plus you can throw a handbrake in there.
Well, there's the red and yellow flags. We've reached halfway here in Pro Buggy round number 3. Billy Booth looking nearly untouchable throughout that first half. Started on the pole, led all the way to the halfway point. But Bonacci, the mover in the top 3 here. No surprise, Lorenzo Bonacci, fastest lap of the race in that first half as well. So look at him throughout this second half. But now we'll go down trackside. Haley Shanley, what can you tell us about Pro Buggy?
In motorsports at large, the celebration is often short-lived, even for our winners, because it's always on to the next thing. And for round 2 winner Lorenzo Bonacci, what that looked like was actually a long list of repairs, upgrades, maintenance, and inspection. He's keeping digging. He is on the hunt for more. And we know that he's not a newcomer, of course. He's a regular front runner on the West Coast and, of course, in the desert. So Lorenzo Bonacci coming off of that big win and still looking to make improvements of this car. And I think it's showing, not just the results on track right now in the speed, but the speed he's showing as well. Like you guys said, one of the fastest, if not the fastest in the first half of the race. So Lorenzo Bonacci, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him as a regular front runner here in 2024.
Well, I think, Brent, we're going to have one heck of a duel on our hands between Booth and Bonacci. Seemed like the pace was almost identical between those two. Booth, you have to suspect, was running a little bit conservative there through the later stages of that first half. But he's as fast as anybody in this class. Obviously, Bonacci dominant back in round 2, able to work his way up through the field to catch up to Booth. We're in for a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can look at our scoring charts. Lorenzo Bonacci, sorry. He is, what is he at, a 54.413 his last time by. He's about a half a second faster than Billy Booth, so that tells you right there that it's gonna come down to the wire. But like you said, he was cutting back a little bit, probably make sure all his ducks are in a row for the second half. Don't wanna burn those tires off.
And we mentioned Minder, he was the top qualifier He was falling back from those top two a little bit toward the end of that first half run, but might have been saving the car a little bit. We'll see. Second half underway, and look at that. Bonacci jumped onto the back of Booth there for a moment. They almost got stuck together.
Yeah, I was wondering if they did get locked. Back into turn one, still Billy Booth.
How about Jordan Bernlohr in that fourth spot? Came into this weekend up there in the top three in points. Cannot count out the 27 of Bernlohr.
Wow, Billy Booth just really putting the loud pedal down and running away. Bonacci really getting that bottom groove going. Look at that, nice little drive out. We'll see how this ends on the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, he's trying something different. That's what you have to do at some point. You can't just play follow the leader for the entire race. Just not enough time. 3.5 minutes left before we'll see the white flag. Booth, Bonacci, Minder, Bernlohr down the front straightaway.
Man, time is definitely running out, but he is closing that gap once again. So he's definitely resetting himself. He knows he landed on the back of Billy Booth on that restart, and it costing him a little bit of ground, but here he comes back once again.
On the charge into GoPro turn 2. But Booth, man, he has been hitting every single mark all the way around this track. I haven't seen a single slip up yet from Billy Booth.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job. He's gonna come back towards that.
Whoa, there it was.
A little crossed up, there it was.
Bonacci trying to muscle his way past Booth as they go onto the back straightaway. They're about side by side. Still side by side with Bonacci, set up to the inside in turn 4.
Boy, Booth is going to try to power the long way around. He can't get there. We have a new race leader.
All it took was one mistake, and Lorenzo Bonacci takes over the race lead. Meanwhile, Jordan Bernlohr has gotten past Caden Minder for third. You can see a few spots around this track where it's starting to get rougher and rougher with each passing lap. Look at Bonacci just pull away from Billy Booth.
Yeah, you can tell he was a little bit faster than Booth, but he's really looking like he was really quick. He's just cleaving this field.
Now Bernlohr may be starting to close the gap on Billy Booth. We talked about first half setups versus late stages setups. Wondered if maybe Billy Booth a little bit better geared, better set up for the first half.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of these drivers, they try different techniques. So Billy Booth, I know him and his father, they work really, really hard to try to get that setup dialed week in and week out. Still in a great spot, but nowhere to be found as our leader right now. He's gone.
Bonacci 1.3 seconds faster than Billy Booth on that last lap. Let's watch Jordan Bernlohr in the number 27 Pro Kart car going to work on the Mud Muncher machine of Billy Booth.
Yeah, Billy letting it hang out right there, grabs the cushion. It's really slippery down there. You see the pavement, we call it. Once that blue groove sets in, there's so much rubber going down.
Yeah, we should see that race line get wider and wider throughout the pro racing action here in round 3. Another little mistake there by Minder as he pushes a little bit wide. Should be 2 laps to go this time for our race leader, Lorenzo Bonacci, out of Riverside, California. Still Bonacci, Booth, Bernlohr, the Killer Bees running 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, Bonacci's just looking really smooth. Look at Bernlohr now putting that pressure on once again, like you said.
Yeah, he's turning up the heat right now on Billy Booth. So tough. These cars are so wide, it's really hard to make a pass in these tighter corners. It's all about putting a run together like we saw Bonacci do on Booth.
Yeah, and sometimes it takes a lap, if not more, to just get it all figured out, because you get that run, you got to seal it. That's Billy Booth flying off that tabletop one more time. There's Bernlohr now. Jordan trying to keep that car square.
White flag should fly here for Lorenzo Bonacci. There it is, 1 lap to go here in round 3 for Pro Buggy. Booth can still see the back bumper of Bonacci, just cannot keep the pace here in this second half.
Yeah, Billy Booth, he was just a shy quicker than Bonacci, but time has definitely gone away. Less than a lap to go, going through this little GoPro chicane. Over that little finger jump one more time. This is where they catch a lot of air here, Shane.
Yeah, like I said, every pro class, we're going to see tripling this big tabletop. See a lot of action there, especially when those 4,000-pound trucks get out on the racetrack. Bonacci in control of this one. They'll fly through that sweeper one final time and onto the front straightaway. How about it? 2 wins in a row here for Lorenzo Bonacci in the 2024 season. Good bounce back for Billy Booth, though, after those transmission issues in Lena. And Jordan Burnlore, he called the shot this year. Jordan Burnlore said he wanted to contend for a championship. He is in the thick of the points chase through 3 rounds.
Man, we didn't get even a chance to talk about Mark Steinhardt. I mean, this depth of this field is so deep, and man, you have to be ready to rock and roll.
We're having some fun now, man.
This is all of the hard work and all of those late nights culminating to this moment, and that feeling is just, man, it is unreal.
Well, no one should be confident. He's always got the stats and the intel. What a great race it was. Jordan Bernlohr, another podium finish for you. Come on down here. Let's have a chat. You got to be proud of the fight that you put up in this one. Seems like you were in the thick of the action from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely. Certain turns were definitely tricky, and it was just trying to stay smooth, keep my head forward. Dave Mason, like he went completely sideways, spinning out, and I saw him. I thought he was coming into me, so then I chucked the wheel pretty hard. I almost lost it, but able to get it back. So happy with that. Yeah.
Job well done.
Yeah, thank you. Can I thank anyone? First off, I want to thank my family, everyone. My wife and my son can't be here. Miss them. But thank you to everyone who's helped out, Pro Kart Indoors, Quality Contour, J-Spec, he does the race prep, Bo, my spotter, Shark Club, Drug Hydropower, and everyone else.
Nicely done. Jordan Bernlohr, P3. And Billy Booth, similarly to Jordan, you were another one of these guys who was just, and it was nonstop action for you, for better or for worse, but mostly for the better. So just walk me through this one and how much it was pushing you.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like you're just flying everywhere. Going in turn one, you don't lift till you get to the big bump, and point in the other direction it goes, and it was, track came in great. I knew with the rain last night it'd be perfect for us, and that little rework they did, keep the dust down, and oh man, Lorenzo's flying, proving us wrong this early in the season, and glad to see him out here, glad to see such good competition in the class, and you know, with the failure we had at Lena, kind of in a points hole here, and got the bonus points, could have really used the win here, and better qualifying time for tomorrow, but man, I just keep missing shifts and hit a couple lines wrong, and just clean that stuff up, and we'll be right there, I think. So just big thanks to everybody who helps us out, Alternative Machine Tool, Motorized Tear-Offs, parents, my girlfriend coming out for the day. It's a lot of work to do this. She puts up with a lot, so big thanks to her for all that. And then Jeremy, Silas, Adam helping us out, all the friends in the pits cheering us on, and be back tomorrow, and we'll go for that #1 spot.
Thanks, Billy. Great race today for Billy Booth. And Lorenzo Bonacci, 2 wins out of 3. That ain't bad whatsoever. This one does not seem circumstantial by any means. This was all fight. So how much of this had to do with all the hard work that you and your team put in since the last time we saw you?
Oh, it's got everything to do with the work, you know. We've been jamming on the car hard. I mean, we had to go back to California and deliver parts into San Diego because when I hit the tractor tire last week in Atlanta, and we had to go visit family for my uncle's funeral. He passed away. But we came back with everything that we needed, and we were wrenching on the car till 2 in the morning almost every night till we got out here. And you know, hard work always pays off, and that's been tried and true. And I'm really thankful for my dad to help me do it. You know, it's not just me by myself; it's a team effort between the both of us.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Lorenzo Bonacci absolutely flying out there, and the winner for round 3 of Pro Buggy.
Thanks, Haley, and that sets the table for what we're going to see here for the rest of Pro round number 3. Pro Spec, our first pro truck race of the day, just a few moments ahead of us. You do not want to miss it. Stay with us here at AMSOIL Championship Off-Road.
Douglas, for a very long time, you were the winningest guy here at Antigo, and you were telling me yesterday when I ran into you that you still get so excited to come back to Antigo. So why is that? What gets you going for this place?
Oh, it's just, first of all, it's a fantastic facility, and people don't realize it's like a diamond in the rough. But second of all, it's the track. It's a short track. I've always loved the short tracks, but this short track gets really slick. There's 3 things. It's the dirt, and it's the speed, and it's the short track, the tightness of it. So what I mean by the speed is we can go around the outside of this place and get tons of speed. Most short tracks, you can't do that. And then I talk about the slickness of it. When this place gets hard, it gets slick. What does that mean? You got to modulate the throttle a lot. You've got to find the traction. You got to change your lineup, and you've got to constantly be looking at lines and everything to figure out where the traction is to get to the front to make the passes. You know, and then the idea of a short track being constantly busy all the time. I mean, some of the big tracks are great. You're going wide open. You're doing over 100 miles an hour down these big long straightaways, but you're going, what am I going to do to the next corner? Obviously, you're thinking about the next corner. It's not that simple. But here, you don't even have time. You're constantly thinking, and you're constantly setting up things.
And you're one of those drivers who, when I think of cup races, your name is synonymous with them. So now we get to have the Kyle LeDuc race, which is Pro 2 and versus Pro 4 here at Antigo. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look up the format, but do you have any expectations of how exciting you think that race might be, or how that might look on a short track?
Well, it's going to be, I'll tell you, first of all, it's tough to have a cup race on a short track. And the reason being is because you don't have everybody spread out. If there's a yellow, it's hard to have sometimes local yellows. You might have to have a full caution yellow. But I got to give them credit. They're going to spread them out at the beginning. I know a little bit of the format. I don't know the whole thing. Spread them out at the beginning, and then they're going to, near the end of the race, the Pro 2s are going to take a joker lane, which they're not going to go in the infield. They're going to go around the outfield. It supposedly cuts about 20 seconds off, but they're going to carry a boatload of speed too. So what's going to make exciting is obviously they're going to cut that time off, but they're going to be going into that next corner probably about 10-20% faster than they ever have. So you might see some big action down there on the oval as well. So it could really turn out to be one heck of an exciting race, but that's what it should be, because that's what Kyle LeDuc was all about. He was about excitement, and you could see that in even as qualifying when he's out there by himself. So I'm glad they're having this memorial race for Kyle. I mean, fantastic competitor. I wish we still had him, and I think we're all going to miss him a lot.
Very well said. Absolutely. Scott Douglas, I always love listening to your insight. Look forward to seeing him in the booth throughout the weekend. Scott Douglas.
Well, you see what's taking to the track now here at Antigo Lions Roaring Raceway. Pro Spec, as I said, our first pro truck race of the day. Got a new driver in this one from what we had back at Dirt City Motorplex. We'll fill you in on that as we go through the lineup here for Pro Spec. Nick Visser will start on the pole in the number 80s from just up the road in Summit Lake, Wisconsin. Alongside of him will be from Terrell, Texas, Christopher Parrish, who was the top qualifier here this weekend for Pro Spec. Row number 2 will be Dylan Parsons alongside Chris Vandenelzen. Row number 3 is Ron Cosiza. He will be alongside Porter Inglesi, making his Pro Spec debut. He's a 2-time Mod Kart champion, stepping up into the pro ranks for the first time. And starting 7th, the number 3 is Diesel Shannock, a former stock truck champion. Ton of talent in this one. Maybe a little bit of a surprise. Christopher Parrish, only his second weekend racing in an off-road truck, was the top qualifier, but Parrish races FIA Formula 4, so 3 levels below Formula 1. That's what he does more regularly than off-road. So he's learning on the fly a little bit, but no doubt, no stranger to speed in that number 83.
No, he's just got to get used to it, and that's what he's going to do here in his first season. And anytime you can have a resume like that, you're going to become a great off-road racer as well. We've seen guys like Jimmy Johnson and, I mean, Ricky Johnson coming out of stuff like the circle track world. And, I mean, if you don't get your experience here in off-roads, you're coming from a lot of different sports, and it usually transitions very, very well. We're about to go green flag racing.
Round 3, Pro Spec underway and headed down into turn 1. Like Parsons did not get a great jump on that start, but he'll have the inside line on Vandenelzen. Everybody just trying to play nice through turn 1. Looks like everybody able to get through cleanly. And how about it? Christopher Parrish in the 83 out front early on.
Yeah, he didn't waste any time. They're tiptoeing their way through. Here comes Vandenelzen now getting shoved out of the way by Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons just pushed him off the race line. Didn't help Parsons out whatsoever, but did benefit Nick Visser quite a bit as he is now into the second spot.
See, they laid down a little bit of moisture in that infield section. You get back up on the oval, Shane, it gets really tacky and fast. Oh, Vandenelzen gets into Visser.
Whoa, and then they hooked up again, and Visser goes around. Those two tangled a little bit back at Dirt City Motorplex, so maybe a little rivalry developing between Vandenelzen and Visser.
Yeah, Visser is definitely confident. We talked to him in opening ceremonies. He knows how to win here in Antigo in just about anything he drives, so he's going to be on the hunt.
Well, 1 lap in the books. Christopher Parrish, your race leader. There is Chris Vandenelzen holding off Ron Cosiza. They dive down into turn 1. Dylan Parsons, the round 1 winner, running in that second spot. Visser, he's got some work to do.
Yeah, he really does. Look at Parsons. Talked about him a little bit on the podcast as well, Shane, and he's definitely looking forward. He's got a great tire combination, great group of guys behind him.
Yeah, welcome to new partner this year, Toys for Trucks, coming on board to that program. Of course, he's had the help of Matt Gerald, entire time in Pro Spec. He has the task of trying to run down Christopher Parrish, who races for Ryan Beat Motorsports. Seems like every year another truck gets added under Ryan's awning.
Yeah, Ryan, he's always trying to get drivers into this class, into this sport, and you've seen that.
That was the second time in a row that Parrish hit that hole between turns 4 and 5. There's a hole that develops down there, and I said Pro Spec and Pro Light, those guys are going to have to deal with it. We'll see if Parrish can adjust that line because he's hit it twice.
Yeah, you really do have to adjust, and that's what's so cool about off-road racing. It's kind of like supercross and motocross. It's always changing. As you can see, look at him. He's straddling that outside, but Parsons, he pushed through there.
Yeah, looks like no driver able to gain the advantage on the other one. That time through turn 2. Almost able to clear the triple as the track comes in a little bit and dries out. These trucks will be flying that entire triple.
Man, when they're hitting that landing and they're bucking off the back of that, I can guarantee you, Shane, that does not feel good on the lower back.
Yeah, not good for the rear shocks on those trucks either. Parrish still holds that interval over Dylan Parsons.
See, he moved his line down a little bit. It was a little slower, but hey, he didn't go up on the bicycle or anything, so he's pretty confident as he winds out that truck. Here comes Parson. He's driving the wheels off that thing early.
Yeah, from last year to this year, I just see a lot more confidence out of Parsons. You can tell he trusts the truck a lot more, and a lot of that's just what he's developed with Matt Gerald for putting a setup into the truck, too.
Yeah, and you got to be one with your truck, so it took him a little time, but hey, he's doing a phenomenal job.
He also told us back at Dirt City Motorplex that switching to Kenda tires is night and day different, that he feels he's a lot better running on Kenda tires.
Parrish flying off that tabletop. You see Parsons, he's finally clearing it now, so it's a little bit easier of a landing on that rear suspension.
Yeah, the smoother you can get back down onto the ground, the faster you can put the power down.
Yeah, it's always great to get a good picture up in the air, but you're not going anywhere when you stay up there.
There is Nick Visser after that spin, currently sitting in the 4th spot.
Yeah, he's hoping to see that mandatory competition caution come out very soon.
Oh, you know there's a fire lit underneath Nick Visser right now.
Yeah, I think that's why Van den Elzen's trying so hard to get around Parsons. He wants to put a truck in between them.
Yeah, Van den Elzen just put together a really nice line through turn 1. I think he might have found something a little extra special there. You saw how much he closed on Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons goes wide. Look at this. Opens the door, but there's no grip on exit.
Yeah, it's slick down there. You talked about the blue groove that developed during Pro Buggy. That's exactly where Chris Van den Elzen just drove across that inside line.
Look at Parsons all locked up. The truck going the opposite direction. He over-rotates a little bit. Look at that drive that Van den Elzen gets.
Yeah, Van den Elzen's showing a lot of fight right now in the number 66, Nexon tire truck. Will stay under the green flag here, so at least one more lap to go before halfway.
And watch as he comes across his front straightaway. You talked about how he gets that drive out of turn number 1. Watch, see him go up a little higher. He's gonna get that little run coming out of the bottom, and watch that exit speed change.
Yeah, he waits just a little bit longer to turn in turn 1 there. That time Parsons saw it coming though and moved over and took the exit line away from Van den Elzen.
Yeah, very smart driving.
This is a mental battle going on right now between these two drivers. You can see Van den Elzen finds something, Parsons figures it out too, and then Parsons takes it away from him. Yeah, fascinating to watch this kind of racing.
Yeah, it's cool to go to work. You got to study the track. Everybody's like, oh, why do they ride around on their mini bikes and their 4-wheelers? Hey, you're trying to get what you can out of the track. You're not here all year. You're here for a weekend.
Of course, a big help to Chris this season is having Robert Nash come on board as his director of racecraft, he calls it. He's got Robert on the radio for him as well. The halfway point has been reached here in Pro Spec. Didn't talk a whole lot about Christopher Parrish, but that's just how far out front he was, showing that his top qualifier time was no fluke in that number 83. Parsons across the line 2nd, Van den Elzen 3rd, and Visser 4th. So you remember early on, Van den Elzen and Visser tangled up a little bit. And now they get to start bumper to bumper in the second half. But for more on Chris Van den Elzen, let's go down trackside to Haley Shanley.
Well, under the helmet, Chris Van Den Elzen tells me that the fire has been lit. Now, they've been chasing setup on this car, and he said Keaton Kincaid has even been helping us as of last weekend, the last race weekend we had in Dirt City in Lena, Wisconsin. So they've been chasing setup specifically now with the rear suspension to give it more forward bite, but also making some changes to their program. He said over the last year, a little bit more than that, I haven't been enjoying it. We've been running ourselves ragged, myself and our team, and we really want to get back to enjoying this. So what that looks like for him is they're not running themselves ragged out at the test track and getting all those test hours in. Instead, taking some time away from the test track between races. In fact, 2 weeks ago, him and his wife Amanda got to make the trip down to Indianapolis for the Indianapolis 500 and enjoy some time away from work, if you will. So making changes to their program and making some changes to the truck, but nonetheless, the fire has been lit for Chris Van Den Elzen.
Thanks, Haley. And yeah, Chris actually posted on his social media channels earlier this week that he felt like he had a little extra mojo coming into Antigo, and like we've said, the fight that he's showing trying to get past Parsons right now, he's found some things that no other driver yet has found. We'll see how that plays out in the second half, but again, Van Den Elzen might have to deal with Nick Visser a little bit on this restart.
Yeah, Van Den Elzen better get on the loud pedal and go, because I guarantee you Visser, he remembers what went on earlier in this race, but I don't think Visser's going to retaliate and take them both out, so pay attention, it's going to get interesting.
Well, Visser did give Van Den Elzen a little tap there before the green flag flew. And look at Van Den Elzen trying the inside line now on Parsons as they go into turn 1.
Yeah, Chris is trying to outbrake Parsons. They make a little contact, they kiss fenders.
Still banging doors as they go over the first tabletop, headed for the GoPro corner. Van Den Elzen ran out of room there. He had to dodge that tractor tire.
Boy, Chris is really running some nice lines. He's finding a lot of dry dirt right now.
Little mistake there by Parsons, opens the door again. They're banging doors in the air.
Well, he gave him 2 love taps and just moved him out of the way. Now he has to really take a deep breath and get through this turn.
Talk about mojo for Chris Van Den Elzen. He is on the move here in the second half, and he is going to slide in front of Parsons and seal the deal.
Now Van Den Elzen's eyes are set on Parrish. Parrish has just been checked out on the field. Oh, it looked like Visser made contact with Parsons coming through turn number 1, man.
Yeah,
that was heavy contact, scary, no touchstone there.
That is very scary to make contact in that high-speed sweeper. You can tell Visser digging hard right now, trying to find a podium spot here. You see Parrish again running away from everybody else.
Well, here comes Parsons once again, Shane. He's buttoned up to the back of Van Den Elzen once again. There goes Visser to the inside, trying that bottom section.
Visser just missed making contact with Dylan Parsons' bedside.
That section right there would be good to try to do a little slide job, but you got to be on the back bumper when you try it.
Well, Visser's going to dive down to the bottom again in turn 3. Puts a fender into the side of Parsons. They're leaning on one another down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Parsons seen what was going on. He gave him a little shove back, but it costed him.
Well, Parsons will have the faster outside line through turns 4 and 5 and back onto the front straightaway. This fight is a long way from over.
Yeah, they're going to make contact all the way down this straightaway. One of them has to give.
Neither one wants to. That's the problem as they go into turn 1.
Parsons goes really deep. Van Den Elzen goes up on the bicycle.
Parsons just trying to hold his ground. They're still door to door as they go through the infield.
Watch Parsons. He's going to try to square this away right now. He's going to try to push him, get him a little bump, go back underneath.
This is just
he
incredible.
Does. Look at it. He made it work.
This is like watching a boxing match right now between Parsons and Visser.
Yeah, the gloves are definitely off. Visser is not done yet. Watch as he overshoots this jump.
This is going to get very, very interesting.
He tried to make a blow right there.
Parrish all by himself out front. All this drama behind him is doing him a huge favor. You see, at least for the moment, Visser falls off the back bumper of Parsons, but he'll try to put together another run as they go down the front stretch.
Yeah, Parrish, he's in a different zip code this afternoon. He is flat out flying. Here comes Visser to the inside. He's going to do a slide job on Parsons, but he's going to come back.
Well, Parsons got a little bit crossed up, and that'll be all she wrote, at least for now. So Visser into that third spot. And, well, here we go again. Van Den Elzen and Visser, they tangled in Lena. They tangled earlier in this race, and Parsons spun out. Saw a glimpse of him going around.
My eyes are set on these two boys right here because it's going to get hot and heavy. Watch Van den Elzen. He needs to keep the wheels down on the ground. As Visser is on his way to the back bumper of Van den Elzen. They make contact.
Bumper to bumper down the backstretch into turn 4.
Watch Visser. He's going to try to get to the bedside. He can't. He's up on the bicycle. He's trying to get grip.
Just running on the ragged edge right now. They're wheel to wheel over the front jump. Still side by side as they head for turn 1.
Remember, Chris likes to go really, really deep into this turn to try to cross back over. See if he can get back underneath of Nick Visser. Look at, there's neck and neck.
Well, it's Visser into second for now. Van den Elzen now has to bring the fight back to Nick Visser. Wow, those drivers are missing that tractor tire by inches down there on entry into the GoPro switchback.
Wow, they're in unison going through there. Now they're not even touching, so great driving by these two drivers. Throwing it out the window what happened earlier, they're just driving hard.
Tremendous battle still raging on for second and third.
Oh, Van den Elzen over-rotates.
You can tell he's trying to be aggressive and keep that pace with Visser, and that cost him a lot. He'll fall back about 6 truck lengths behind Visser, if not more. White flag is out for Christopher Parrish.
Man, poor guy in this race.
Yeah, poor guy. We haven't talked about him this whole time.
Yeah, he's doing a phenomenal job in that Bilstein shock ride, that 83. Pennzoil on board as well. Chevrolet back in that program. Ryan Beat doing a lot for the sport, doing a lot for this class. And at first, we seen this class coming into the series, and we're like, hey, you know, it's kind of hit and miss. How's it going to be? These drivers are really showing that it is a competitive class, and I want to see more trucks.
Talk about competitive. The race we've seen here in round 3. It's Parrish just navigating this infield section and back onto the back straightaway for the final time. Well, top qualifier yesterday, untouchable here in round 3 today.
Yeah, he's going to be a happy race car driver, locking down a big win here in round 3. Parrish is going to get it done.
So 3 rounds in, 3 different winners in Pro Spec this year. Visser across the line second. Van den Elzen battle tested across the line with third. That's 3 podium finishes for Van den Elzen on the season. Parsons survives for a 4th place finish. Cosiza across the line 5th, and Porter and Glazy across the line in 6th. There's the full unofficial results from Pro Spec. Well, we told you these pro truck classes would be a little bit fun here at Antigo.
Not the first truck class. It's crazy.
Got a long way to go in pro racing here in round 3, but before we get to any of that, we'll talk to the top 3, and might be some fun interviews down there on the podium with Haley here in just a few moments. Stay with us here at Antigo, where AMSOIL Championship Off-Road.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
This is all of the hard work and all of those late nights culminating to this moment, and that feeling is just, man, it is unreal.
Tread victoriously with Maxxis.
Once again, of a small town of Antigo, Wisconsin, and there is a happy race car driver, Christopher Parrish, getting the job done in Pro Spec, and it was a hot and heavy race. We're going to go down the trackside with our top 3 finishers in this one. From Seymour, Wisconsin, in the 66 Toyota, Chris Vandenelzen. And taking second from Summit Lake, Wisconsin, in the Chevrolet number 80, Nick Visser. And taking the win, the number 83 Chevrolet, Christopher Parrish.